Hey everybody, this is Drew from Clean Cheap Shots. Welcome back to the channel. I got a VR today for Old Sarge Collects. That's Dan over at Old Sarge Collects. He wanted us to show some Fantastic Four. So I dug into my comic book boxes and pulled out 3 Fantastic Fours for old Dan here. So this one here in the middle is from July of 1975. It's issue 160. It was the first Fantastic Four I bought as a kid. I was 9 years old at the time. And the second comic book I bought of the Fantastic Four was in October of 1976. That's issue 175. And then issue 180 came out in March of 1977. Now, a few things about these comic books. So you'll see down here, it says the Thing is talking. That's the Thing, in case you're not familiar with Marvel Comics. He says, just come a little bit closer, laughing boy, and I'm going to make Hank Aaron look like a little leaguer. Well, let's bring in Hank Aaron. That's a 1955 Topps. And I didn't realize the Thing is left-handed. He's swinging left-handed. About to hit this villain over here. So no, I don't think Dan intended for us to show comic books, but I thought, what the heck? I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna keep messing with Dan here for a little bit. He always makes these VRs complicated for me because I think he knows my weak spots. I've done 3 of them for him, I think, in the last 6 months, and it's always a challenge. Now, Dan wanted us to show 4 cards graded of 4. That's the challenge for me. I don't typically have cards that are graded of 4. I have a very focused collection, and they're generally 5 or above, but I was able to find a couple of them. So the Thing down here, the Fantastic Four, his famous saying was, "It's clobbering time." And I'm going to go ahead and put old Hank Aaron back down there again, since he references Hank Aaron. But one 4 I had is this 1953 Eddie Matthews. So I'll compare the Thing to Eddie Matthews. He's the only player to have represented the Braves in the 3 cities they called home. In August of 1954, he appeared on the first cover of Sports Illustrated. Matthews had 512 home runs. He's a 12-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion. His number 41 was retired. He did have college football offers. And Ty Cobb once said, "I've only known 3 or 4 perfect swings in my time. This lad had one of them." He's regarded as one of the best third basemen of all time. He was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1978, and he died at the age of 69 in 2001. Okay, so next we have The Invisible Woman, and that's Ken Boyer, and that's his 1955 rookie card. That's a PSA 4, Dan. So that's 2 of them I have. So we'll set him down here. Again, The Invisible Woman, obviously her superpower was invisibility, and again, I think Ken Boyer has been invisible to the Hall of Fame voters. So Ken Boyer, he had 2 brothers, Cloyd and Cleet, who were former big leaguers. He was the second third baseman to hit 250 career home runs after the aforementioned Eddie Matthews. He led the National League in double plays 5 times, and in 1984, his number 14 was retired by the St. Louis Cardinals. Born and raised in Missouri, he served in the United States Army from 1951 to 1953. 11-time All-Star. He was an MVP in 1964, 5 Gold Gloves, and he passed away in 1982 at the age of 51. Cancer had taken his life. So if you watched my channel in the past, and if you keep watching my channel, I'm going to keep telling you that I think Ken Boyer should be in the Hall of Fame. So we're going to slide Ken Boyer over here and move on to the next player. The Human Torch. And who better could throw fire than Nolan Ryan? There we go, 1968. 1968. That's a PSA 4. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. 1968. Well, in case you missed it, you weren't paying attention, Nolan Ryan had 324 wins and a 3.19 ERA. He has the all-time record for strikeouts at 5,714, also a record of 7 no-hitters. He was an 8-time All-Star, 11-time strikeout leader, 27 years, and at the age of 40, he led the league with a 2.76 ERA and had an 8-16 record. That ought to tell you just how bad of a team he was on there in Houston. You know, another record that he had was hits per 9 innings, 6.6. And he was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1999. So the Human Torch and Nolan Ryan, I think, have something in common. They both could throw fire. All right, we'll move Nolan over a little bit here. All right, so the last member of the Fantastic Four was Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards. His special ability was he's able to stretch. And so when you think of people that can stretch in baseball, first baseman always comes up, right? So how about Darren Erstad of the Angels? Put him down there. So he attended the University of Nebraska and was a first-team All-American. In 1994, he was the MVP of the Cape Cod League. He was the first overall pick of the Angels, and he won 2 Gold Gloves at 2 different positions. It was the first time that feat had ever been accomplished. So he was an outfielder and a first baseman, hence the stretch. In 1994, Darren Erstad won a national championship with the Nebraska Cornhuskers as a punter. His 42.6 yard average was 14th in the nation. He became the Cornhuskers baseball head coach in 2012 and was Big Ten Coach of the Year in 2017. In 2000, he had a campaign that was remarkable. He was a Silver Slugger. He had a batting average of .355 and had 240 hits. So I've met Darren Erstad a few times over the years. And on this particular occasion, a buddy of mine who works for the University of Nebraska gave me tickets to the ladies' volleyball game. So to my surprise, I was sitting next to Erstad. But also, I was sitting next to Larry the Cable Guy, comedian and actor. And then just one chair over from Erstad on the other side was Hall of Fame football coach Tom Osborne. So those are my Fantastic Fours. And I threw in a little Hank Aaron since he was mentioned in Marvel Comics. Just a side note about the thing. I'm going to slide Darren up here a little bit. 6 foot, 500 pounds. He attended Empire State University on a football scholarship, and he was a United States Air Force pilot. And so the last thing that Dan wanted us to do was shout out 4 channels. The first I'd like to shout out is Zach and Porter. This is the father and son channel. They root for the Bears, the Bulls, and the White Sox. They have a huge Frank Thomas collection, and I've got to say, Porter really carries that channel for Zach, I'll tell you that. I just got to poke fun at Zach a little bit, but a lot of fun those two guys have. Again, a father and son channel that I really enjoy. The second channel is, I like to call him Collecting Mad Dog. It's Collecting Maddox. Now, obviously, he's a Greg Maddux fan. He's got 146 subs, and he does a wonderful job showing cards, and it would be great if we could get him to 200 subs here in the next couple of months. Another channel, which I believe is pretty new, is Cash Cards. He's got 50 subs, and he's a vintage baseball collector. He's a Cincinnati Reds fan, so Cincinnati kid, if you're watching this, I hope you sub Cash Cards, and Cash Cards, I hope you'll check out the Cincinnati kid. Now, Cash Cards, you're not going to find any Steve McQueen over there. And if you don't get that joke, you may have to Google. The fourth channel I wanted to shout out is somebody that's been a longtime supporter of mine, and he was always a great commenter. And then recently, about 3 months ago, he started making videos, and that's Vintage Dave T. He's got 59 subs. Interestingly, all of his videos are VRs. That's how great of a supporter he is to the community. And so get over there and check out Vintage Dave T and give him some likes and subs. All right, so there's those cards again. 1953, Eddie Matthews. Rookie card of Ken Boyer from 1955. Next it is Hank Aaron, 1955. And of course, the Jerry Kuzma, Nolan Ryan rookie card from 1968. And Darren Erstad right here in the middle. To get a closer look at the comic books that I was talking about earlier, there you go. Now if you can read that. And I'm going to make Hank Aaron look like a Little Leaguer. Again, that was in 1975, so a year after Hank Aaron had surpassed Babe Ruth's home run record. And this one, I always love the vibrant colors on these Marvel books of the 1970s. I'll back that out a little bit so you can get a better look. I was thumbing through this and I noticed this. Hostess is back with new baseball cards to collect and trade with your friends. And they show Steve Garvey, Joe Morgan, and Carlton Fisk. 3 free baseball cards on specially marked boxes of Hostess snack cakes. Total of 150 cards. Full of facts, collect them all and trade them. So I thought that was interesting. And then on issue 180, I realized that Dan had been featured on the cover of the Fantastic Four there. There he is, old Sarge. Can you believe that? He's got an action figure. And now I find out that he was on the front of the Fantastic Four. There you go, Dan. There you are. Okay, one last thing. I received a gift in the mail from the Cincinnati Kid, and I was kind of speechless, I guess. He sent me this really beautiful 1969 Roberto Clemente in a 5.5 grade. That's a CSG. This is really a nice, they have really nice looking slabs, if you ask me. They're really clear plastic. This is a really nice gift. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'd made a comment in one of the videos that he had made, and he shipped this over to me and congratulated me on 1 year on YouTube. So I don't know how I'm going to pay him back. I'll figure something out. But thanks again. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to set him up there between Hammer and Ink and Ken Boyer. Okay, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and keep growing your collection, card farmers.